Hey there, thanks for stopping by. And if you're new to my channel and you'd like to learn a bit more about drawing, please subscribe to my channel, hit the bell, and that way you'll get notified every time a new video comes out. Now today's tutorial is all about Halloween again. Yep, this is probably the last one because Halloween, well, it's tomorrow, I think it is. Over here it is. We've got a little do to go to. My niece is hosting. And we're all going to get dressed up. But anyway, I thought in the spirit of it we'd do another little Halloween scene. And this one's about a castle and a crow sitting in a tree and a few bats flying around. And it's all sort of silhouetted type, you know. Anyway, you have to watch it and see. And the other thing is too, look, watch it to the end because there's lots of little bits and pieces in there that I share with you. And I've narrated this one. So although it's in time lapse because of the time, I think you'll enjoy it. So come on, let's have a go. Okay, so as always we start off with just doing the outside first. We're just laying down the outline first, the pencil sketch. I'm just following the grid line, and we're not going to get it exactly how the reference photo is. We don't want it to be exact. All it is a reference. It's a guide. We want to make our own drawing. So we're just putting in the main branches. So he's going out across over to the moon a bit, and you'll notice with the grid marks you can see them there. I haven't actually done a grid right over where the moon is because there was no point. It's just a circle, and we've put you know, a little bit of texture in there to give it a different effect. Well, we will be, I mean, yeah. Just realising that it was going to be going over in front of the moon. Now what I like to do is, if I'm not too sure about drawing something, I use a scrap bit of paper and just draw it on the side to start with. So we're just doing the crow. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that one. Just taking the time. Remember, we're only just doing the outline. Now the reference photo, the actual castle, as you can see there, is very, very dark, and I don't really want it to be that dark. I want to be able to see a few things. So once again, just following the grid line. Make sure you put a bit of paper down because it's so easy to smudge everything. This is at the stage where there's a lot of rubbing out to do and shifting things around. It's all part of the process. And it's very hard to try and sort of make out exactly what's going on. So I'm using my set square here just to try and get things straight and keep them in the right perspective. Put in what appears to be a couple of windows there and that turret or tower on the side there. Taking some of the grid lines out. Well, I'm just putting in the door, and it seems to be all made out of stone, so as you can see that happened pretty quickly because it's just a repetitive process. So we just want to put them in. One, they're all pretty much the same. You sort of got to stagger them though. Now I don't know if this is actually on the reference. I can't see, but you know how you get those little, I don't know what you'd call them, but where the archers hide behind and shoot the arrows out. They've got a name, but I don't know what they are. And of course now I'm shading that side because we're sort of looking from the right to the left. If we were standing there to view it. Yeah, just take your time. I'm doing this at 4 times the original speed in time lapse. Yeah, to do the whole thing in normal time would be an hour and a half, 2 hours maybe. So the reason why we've got to speed it all up a bit, and as I say, you can draw along if you wanted to. All you got to do is just slow it down. Pause when you feel like it. As long as you've got the grids there, and just persevere. Like I keep saying, anyone can learn to draw. If you can hold a pencil and write your name, you can learn to draw. You just got to want to enough. Putting in the steps. Taking out a few of the grid lines. Just taking them out as we go. I've got that on an angle because what I'm trying to do is create the impression that the steps are actually a little bit under the ground. Like they're not actually flush with the ground. Now I'm using my Koh-I-Noor 5.6 mil lead. It's a clutch pencil, and I really find that useful for getting doing large areas quickly. I'm just going over the tree. Down the ground there. Now I'm using just the kitchen paper, kitchen towels, just to go around it and blend it all in, soften it up. Yeah, I think that'll just about do it, mate. What I do now, I decided I wanted to get it a bit darker, so I'm just scraping some graphite. It's a woodless pencil, and I'm just scraping it with my craft knife, just to get a bit more dark. Now I'm just blowing it all off into the rubbish, all the leftover. Otherwise, it just gets too messy. Now I rubbed it in again. Now I'm also creating the texture for the moon, just using what graphite was on the paper towel. Now notice with the tree, because I've gone over it so many times that I could hardly see the lines to draw, so I thought maybe the easiest way would be just to erase them with my electric eraser. And this one's got 2 adjustments. You can have, well, 2 sizes of erasers. You've got the little skinny ones that are good for whiskers and little branches, and they're just so easy to interchange. Always brush away the crumb. I put in a few extra little fingerling branches, and now I'm just going through and just putting in what looks like a little bit of foliage, leaves and stuff like that. It's all in silhouette, so there's no detail. It's just leaving a little impression there where you can sort of see them on the actual reference photo. And once again, no one's going to see the photo or to be able to compare it to your drawing, so we just want it near enough. just giving it a little blend with my blending brush. Now with the castle, because it's really in the reference photo is silhouette with a few little highlights, so I'm really just trying to, you know, like I don't want it too dark, but then we can't have it too light either. I'm just trying to find the happy balance. So we're making the darks dark. Remember, it's all about layers. We're just putting down layers. And I've decided to make that that area there another little tower. I couldn't see that in the actual reference photo, but I just thought it would make it look a bit better if that was its own little thing. Now I'm putting in the stonework there, and I'm doing a slight curve just to give the impression that it's round. I'm really just making it up because you can't see. I've lightened up the reference photo on my computer, and I can see it on the screen. And even as light as I've been able to get it, I still can't see all the detail and the nitty gritties, what's going on. So yeah, I'm just making it look a bit like what it is in the photo. And you just sort of shade the edges a bit. You'll find that especially on the round things, just like with the posts in there, you just make the edges a little bit darker. Not dark, but just a little bit like a grade darker. And that will give the impression of being round. And even with those turrets or wherever they are, I've just sort of put some, like they're going to have slates on them. And we're just hinting at that. Of course, it's a little bit lighter on the area I'm doing now, closer to the moon. Now I'm using the tortillon because there's the blending stump, which is a lot bigger, and the tortillon is a lot skinnier, and it's a lot thinner, and it's much better for getting into those little corners and things like that. So put in a few darks. Now it's time to do a bit of ground here. I just took a little bit out with my pencil eraser just to define more between the land where the castle's sitting. And you see how I've done, holding it on its side again, I'm using a 4B wood pencil just to give that impression that the actual steps are below the level of the ground, because you know it could have been from just years and years of people walking up and down there. It's not actually a staircase or anything. Putting in more darks. Darkening up the step. And taking out highlights. Now what I'm doing here is I'm just taking out or creating little stones and rocks and that must have been left over from when they built the castle. I'm just using my mechanical pencil here just to put the shapes in. Now I want to take out a few, because the reference photo there is sort of lights and darks in there. Put in the texture for the moon using my clutch pencil, and then going over it with the blending stump just to soften it all up. Now on the outside of the moon, I'm just going around with my blue tack, just taking the outside, it's like a halo. It's a little bit lighter, but I want it to blend in with the sky as well. decided I'll put in a few clouds. So we just take them out, take the graphite out with our blender, with our blue tack, sorry. I'm just making them a little bit lighter using the electric eraser. But once again, there's no real whites, is there? So in nature, so really, there's just different tones. So all I'm trying to do is just create a different sort of a texture. Now what I'm using here is a cool grey Faber-Castell colouring in pencil. It just gives a different, sort of a different tone altogether than graphite. Tidying it up a little bit around there. I really want the edges of the clouds to sort of just blend with the sky. Now, I just about forgot to put the bats in, but we got them in. I was leaving Grandad for last. Well, it looks like he's the biggest one. Once again, they're just shapes. I didn't like that, the angle I had on it, so I rubbed it out. And what I'm trying to do by doing now, I guess subconsciously I do that because I don't realise I'm doing it until I see the footage. That's the angle I want it to go on. And I'm almost tempted to put a witch flying across on a broomstick, but I think we'll leave that. We'll leave that for now. Even some fork lightning again, but we'll leave it. Just taking out a few little highlights because the reflection of the moon. Down around the arch of the door again. Just doing the sides to create that round, the impression that it's round. I wasn't really too sure whether to make the castle darker or not, but we put a lot of work into it, and of course there's not a lot of detail. Just putting in the darker around the clouds, make the clouds stand out a bit more. And then sort of this foliage on the ground there that's in shadow, or because it's a moonlit night. So just creating the impression, blending a bit more in. Just tidying it up, and I just sort of take a little bit more around the edge of the moon just to make it stand out a bit better. Really just finishing it off now, much as we can do for this demonstration or tutorial. But have a go at it because you'll have a lot of fun. Just stop and pause when you feel you need to. Well, I'm glad you watched it to the end. It's all about putting down graphite and taking it out, building up layers, just slowly progressing along, you know. So pause often, like I said, pause often and stop, rewind if you have to. But I'd love you to give it a go, you know. And it's not a hard drawing to do. There's not a lot of detail in it. It's just a matter of persevering and practicing it. Anyway, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.